The total gross premium income reported in the Nigerian insurance industry remained stagnant at 520 billion naira in 2021 when compared to 2020 at 592.3 billion naira. The 2022 insurance industry report by Agusto Co stated that this could be attributed to the negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and the End SARS protest from 2020. The Nigerian Insurers Association said that insurance companies have paid out claims totaling about 9 billion naira to victims that suffered losses from the destruction that followed the End SARS protest. Overall, there were 99 claims settled on malicious damage, 8 on business interruption, 455 on burglary attack, and 912 on fire and burnt sites. Similarly, the insurance companies settled 718 claims on vandalism, 93 cases of looting, 113 on theft, and 136 on loss of cash. The industry reports highlighted that the industry remains resilient with various initiatives by insurers to boost GPI during the period. It noted that there was increased adoption of bank assurance to reduce the dependence on brokers and partnerships with fintechs. Today, we're focusing on Nigeria's 2022 insurance outlook. This is Business Edge. I'm Tolulope. Adeleru-Balogun. Welcome. Joining me on the show today is Ayokunle Olubunmi. He's the head financial institutions and ratings at Agusto Co, a pan-African credit rating agency and a leading provider of industry research and knowledge in Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. Ayokunle, welcome to Business Edge. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Tolu. Thank you for having me.
So a recent insurance industry report revealed that the gross premium income basically did not move between 2020 and 2021. So how much pressure does this now put on the industry for this coming year and a few subsequent years after this, considering that there is this inertia that has come from the pandemic as well as the associated financial downturn that businesses and individuals are experiencing?
Thank you very much. If you look at what happened last year, we should not forget that the insurance industry is cyclical in nature, meaning that when the economy prospers, the financial industry also reports good performance. Also, you see that when the economy is challenged, you will also see the impact on the insurance industry. So I agree with you that what happened last year, right, put pressure on the insurance industry, and going forward, the pressure will still be there. But what we see is that, look, although the economy and our outlook for the economy is going to be a bit slow, talking about the recovery from the pandemic. So the pressure will still be on the insurance industry. Performance is going to be gradual, although there are various initiatives that are being adopted by various insurance companies. We're going to see a gradual increase in premium, okay? But it won't be as much as what we had pre the pandemic that we actually had.
Okay, so let me quickly ask about the pre-pandemic time. Insurance seems to be sometimes a very touchy or, a dismissed topic in many conversations. When you look at the trend of how the GPI has been coming in, let's say in the past 4 or 5 years, have you seen an increase? Has there been an uptake in the trend for the GPI in the insurance industry, or has it been around that 590-something billion that was happening right before the pandemic?
Yeah, gradually over the years, we've seen an increase in insurance uptake. However, there's still a lot more that could be done by the industry. Okay? And the main reason why we're seeing the increase is because of the lootings, right? If you look at the number of Nigerians that are not insured, right, you see that there is still a lot more that could still be done. And this one varies for a lot of reasons, either the trust issues, the religious beliefs, right? The Nigerians actually have a lot of insurance, and the perception about the insurance being a luxurious product. We also notice that a lot of Nigerians don't even understand the integrity of insurance. Right? Some of them don't even know the benefits that they can actually get from it. Some even don't know the kind of products that could actually even satisfy some of their needs. But like I said, a lot of things need to be done in that particular industry. The potential for good is still very huge in the industry.
So you've touched on some of the obstacles. This is where my next question is. And you've said there's a trust issue, a lack of understanding as well, a religious attitude to it. In my years on radio, I was told once that the blood of Jesus is my insurance. So that's the kind of thinking you get from people you're trying to have a conversation with when you're telling them how critical insurance could be, down to even their tablets or their electronic gadgets in the house. What do you think the insurance industry then needs to do to get more people on board? Even if you use NSARS as an example, over 9 billion naira was paid out to victims of the widespread destruction that happened. So you can see insurance does pay. People are getting insurance from their cars when there are incidents, but there seems to obviously be much more that needs to be done.
Yeah, I think the first thing that the industry needs to do is in terms of awareness and education, right? The industry needs to educate Nigerians, let them understand what insurance is all about, okay, the benefits that Nigerians can get from it, and what exactly is being covered, right? More you see now, the generic adverts are not educative in nature. They're not even explaining to customers, right, what they can even get, what are the things that are required of them, and what they can actually even get from the insurance industry. And also, I think the trust issue is being addressed by the industry. I think more needs to be done. We saw last year NIA, Nigeria Insurance Association, blacklisting 2 insurance companies for not paying claims. So we believe that more needs to be done, right? If people are aware that, look, if I'm having an issue with my claims, you know the way Nigerians, once you have issue with your bank, right, once you report to the CBN, there is the expectation that things will actually even become right. As long as we have such in the insurance field, once I report to my phone, my issue will be resolved. You see that Nigerians will also embrace insurance more. Also, the enforcement of compulsory insurance needs to be done. Will you believe that now we have about 7 compulsory insurance, but it's only 2 that are actually being enforced fully, right? And then also, closely to the enforcement of the compulsory insurance is also a database to verify those that actually have such insurance. The introduction of the NNID, it actually helped in the motor insurance, because something that we also realize is that at times it's not only that Nigerians are not even taking up insurance. A lot of Nigerians have fake insurance policies, right? But if you have a database where you can verify that, look, I'm taking up the right insurance policy, right, and it's actually that you can authenticate it, that will also help in the drive for insurance. We see the gradual improvements in marine insurance with the introduction of the portal where such insurance policies can actually can even be done. And industry needs to do more in terms of distribution. Okay, we've seen some bit of improvement with life insurance and even the gradual adoption of fintech, right? That will also address part of the issues that we have and even increase the uptake in insurance.
You touched on something I'd like to follow up in. How would someone have fake insurance? Not a situation of fake insurance papers, maybe to show the police, but fake insurance. Tell me a bit more about that.
Remember that we have a lot of insurance agents and insurance brokers. Okay? So for example, let's take for example the third party policy. A lot of people, when you just go to the licensing office, you're not going to an insurance company to actually go and get it. Some just believe that once you get to that particular office, somebody will arrange insurance policy for you. So you have that situation in which the paper that what you are getting, you're actually even talking to somebody that is giving you a fake policy. Right? So that one is very, very rampant. And however, for most compulsory insurance, you just want to get it, not because you want to insure yourself, but because of a transaction that you want to process. So you just want to have it. So you see Nigerians having a lot of those fake policies. But if there is a database where you yourself can verify, once you have that document, to check that you have an authentic insurance policy, that will also help the industry.
Okay, and that looks like something that can, of course, affect the credibility of the overall industry. So I would assume that industry players are working very hard to make sure they reduce that. But another issue that Nigerians have particularly is the premium policy, the issue of that policy. On average, insurance premium covers are typically above what the average Nigerian actually earns. Is there some kind of compromise that can be found between the average earnings and a premium policy? Because at the end of the day, there's only so much that the majority of Nigerians can afford.
So look, I think it's also a matter of perspective. Okay, some people believe that insurance is expensive. But if you look at it in detail, insurance is not expensive. Because think about it. What you actually pay as a premium is just a fraction of the sum insured. For example, assuming you have a car worth, let's say for the sake of argument, 1 million naira, and you want to take a comprehensive insurance policy, what you will be paying will be less than 50,000. So you are paying 50,000 for a cover of what? Of 1 million. So you see that overall, if you look at it properly, you realize that look, what you are actually even what paying for is not much, right? But you look at that, oh, this is the amount of premium. But why not look at it vis-a-vis if you suffer a loss, what is the level of compensation that you actually get? Having said that also, I think the industry can also do much in terms of compensating those that have insurance for over a period that you do have claims. So what do I mean? For example, if you have somebody and the person has been insuring his car, having a comprehensive insurance over 4 or 5 years, the person should actually be, and the person will actually have any claims over this period. The person should actually be compensated either by reducing the insurance fee that the person will pay, or the person just having something called dividend, just having some form of return. But what you realize is that in most insurance companies, they have that policy. But unless you go and ask for it, you will not actually pay. So think the insurance companies can actually even come on that will encourage the public. Another thing I also need to also mention is what we call micro insurance. A couple of years ago, the industry, the NICO, this regulator, released the guidelines for micro insurance. So what is micro insurance all about? It's simply insurance for low income families, and also for you to cover insurance for, let's go, property with relatively low value, okay, like fan, motorcycle, and whatever. Another beauty of micro insurance is that the payment of premium will actually even be correlated with your cash flow. So you can have daily premium payments. Your premium can actually be paying it monthly and what have you. So with the gradual adoption of micro insurance, that will also help that the low end can also even be actually even brought into the insurance field. And that one can help. We also help in financial inclusion with regards to insurance.
Okay, and you've started talking about adoption now. There's something else that the industry is doing to work towards having more Nigerians adopt insurance cover. But we'll get into that after this break. We're looking at Nigeria's 2022 insurance industry. And of course, the few trends we'll be looking out for. And then we'll touch base. COVID-19 hit everyone out of the blue. Is there some sort of insurance that could help cover you and I in the event of such another reoccurrence? We'll get into that right after this. And still with me is Ayokunle Olubunmi. He's the head financial institutions and ratings at Agusto Co. And we're looking at Nigeria's 2022 insurance outlook. Now, in the year under review, there was more adoption of something called bank assurance that allows banks to sell premiums on behalf of insurance companies. So, Ayokunle, I want you to really explain to me how this bank assurance works and how people have really been using it. So how did it come about that this was sort of coming in to bridge the gap, I guess I would say?
Okay, I think it's not surprising because if you look at the financial sector, you will notice that the banking industry is the most structured, right? And they also have the most the most interaction with the general public, right? Out of all the industry in the financial sector. And you also see that their mode of distribution is actually what industry-wide. There is hardly any local government in Nigeria, even those ravaged by insecurity, where you either don't have a branch or you have a bank agent operating. So it was only natural for the insurance company to also even plug into it because there's no point for you replicating those distribution model, right, all across the country. So it's natural for the banks for the insurance companies to partner with the banks to distribute their products. Okay, and what you see also is that look, apart from even the formal bank assurance agreements that we have between banks and insurance companies, there are also some banks and insurance companies that have some form of agreement in which they will share information, right? And even any business that has to do with insurance, they pass it on to the insurance company. And there are some agreements in which some insurance companies are even allowed to even have their agents sit in the branches of banks to be able to sell their insurance products. And not only that, they also have access to the customers of the banks, right? Given the large number of customers that banks typically have, you notice that it's relatively easier for you to target your products to to the customers of the bank instead of you actually even what trying to even gather those kind of data yourself.
All right, so how has this collaboration been working out?
Yeah. Okay, like I said, now what you see is that now what you see mostly is that for bank insurance, it is most prominent in the retail space. When I talk about retail space, I'm talking more of individuals. Okay, so you see, like I mentioned earlier, you can first have a bank, an insurance company's staff or agent sitting in the branches of what of the banks, right? At times you also have some banks creating products that also have an element of insurance,
Insurance.
and that insurance company will actually even come in to actually provide that particular service. Okay, and then you also see you can see some the insurance company, right, can even actually even design some product to a specific type of client, right? So this in a cluster of clientele of the what of the bank or of the bank, right? Such that those information that product is actually sold to that client of what that class of the bank's customers.
Okay. So what it seems like sometimes is that we see traditional insurance firms seemingly being slow to embrace technology. Technology that can help them get to a younger clientele, that can help them get to a wider audience. And we've seen how fintech has really, really helped the financial services sector and brought on board a lot of young Nigerians. How is the insurance industry working with technology? Is the insurance industry looking at what fintech is doing and saying we can do insurtech as well? We can step things up and bring along insurance and technology, marry the two along to bridge that gap that we see, because the numbers are still in the single digits, primarily for how many Nigerians have any form of insurance for themselves or their families or even their businesses.
Hmm. Okay. I agree that the insurance industry is relatively slow in that adopting some changes, right? But all that changed with the pandemic. Okay. And one major thing that the pandemic did, not only in the insurance industry, but in all industry, is for everybody to appreciate the place of technology. Okay. And what you see is that most insurance companies now are not even thinking about how they can distribute their products through what? The various technology channels. Because the lens during during the pandemic, you can't even go out to market. As when you're even going out to market, who do you want to meet on the street? So it was very difficult. So what you see now is that almost all the insurance companies, almost all of them, actually want for have one form of digitalization of it, developing one kind of product they can use that they can actually sell online, try and even have a online presence where they can actually even sell their products. And what we've also seen now, we also seen insurance companies trying to collaborate more, okay, with the fintechs, and even to even show you that the insurance company are even thinking about that. Just last week, NICOM released a regulatory guide to actually even guide the partnership between the insurance companies and also the fintechs. So the insurance company are realizing that look, we don't have a choice. We actually have to even adopt this for us to be able to scale up, for us to be able to actually even sell our products. Like you mentioned, everybody is embracing digitalization, right? The pandemic opened our eyes to it. So the insurance company is also not left behind. And I'm sure that in the next couple of years, they're going to have a significant portion of insurance companies distributing their products with partnership with fintechs.
And it's good we're talking about the pandemic. So COVID-19 is something that many people would not have predicted or even adequately prepared for. And this is literally 3 years down the line, and we are still feeling the effects of it. Was insurance able to help businesses, particularly small businesses here in Nigeria in any way? And what type of insurance would someone even need to be prepared for an event like COVID-19 that would disrupt supplies, that would disrupt the ability to sell, that would even disrupt income so that you can cover yourself and your employees? Is there insurance for an event such as COVID?
Yes, there is insurance for events like that. They call it business disruption. Okay, all right. However, there's something that we call riders, right? Riders are like an add-on to your insurance product. So it's not like a generic for your generic insurance products you actually have. But for you to actually enjoy that, you must actually even have, because it's like when you have additions to a particular product, that means you need to pay more premium, right? So for most people, a lot of people they didn't actually even stick on it. They didn't actually even have those add they don't have those riders. So that's why you see that for most companies, they couldn't really claim because of the pandemic disrupted my operations. Then I want this particular insurance. However, having said that, the insurance company try as much as possible to support our businesses. For example, right, what we saw then was that some insurance companies realized that, "Oh, let's think about it. Cars were not of the roads. People were actually what in cars. So what they did was that for the insurance policies, for the car and motor insurance policy, what they did was that they removed the road risk element. And that resulted in a significant reduction in the premium for motor insurance. Then also during that particular period, we saw the insurance companies, the insurance industry contribute and granting free insurance to healthcare workers, especially those that are the frontline workers that are helping to combat the pandemic. And don't let's also forget that look, the insurance company are also part of COVID, right? And each different insurance company also have different initiatives to support their business. Some even organize seminars, right? Seminars, right? Just basically to have for webinars for businesses to even understand what is going on and how they can actually even combat the pandemic. However, unfortunately, right, a lot of businesses didn't actually have that rider in their insurance policy, so it was difficult for them to actually claim that particular insurance.
Unfortunate, but I hope it's a lesson, as you said, that everyone has learned. So Ayokunle, finally, as we wrap up, what do you think will determine the fortunes of the Nigerian industry this year? So we're still, unfortunately, coming out of COVID. We're still in a post-COVID era. There are still supply disruptions. There are still economic issues that we're facing because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But do you think we're going to have a better year in the industry than we had in 2021? What are the factors that you think will shape the industry in this year? Very quickly.
Now, I think first of all, don't forget what I said, that the insurance industry is cyclical in nature. So whatever happens to the economy is going to affect the insurance industry. So you realize that we believe that this year will be a year of slow growth. Inflation will still be in double digits. So the insurance companies will actually be what? Will be negatively affected. Having said that, there are some bright spots in the industry. What do I mean? For example, with the upcoming elections and even the upsurge in insecurity, we've seen a gradual increase in the demand for terrorism insurance. Okay, that also includes the insurance premium. Also, with the digitalization of the platform, right, for marine cargo insurance, we've seen an upsurge in the in marine insurance, right? Right. Most people are taking on marine insurance. Not only that, most people are taking, like I mentioned, those people that take marine insurance are buying the authentic insurance. And then with the increase with the most economy opening up, right? Most people actually exporting. Marine insurance has increased. Then also travel insurance is also going to improve with most people traveling. Then don't forget that the industry is currently raising capital. And with the increase in capital, the investment income, which forms a substantial part of the industry's profit or the industry's income, will also increase.
Okay.
So we expect that this year is going to be very bright. It's going to be relatively better, but the industry can still do much.
All right, so some bright spots there. Ayokunle Olubunmi, thank you so much for joining me on Business Edge, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you very much.
And insurance is something you can take for as little as a tablet or a phone in your pocket, but as much as your family's health as well as your business. It might be time to take another look at what insurance can do for you. You're watching Business Edge, and what we're looking at next are a few stories we're keeping our eyes on. And we're wrapping things up with NC4 to watch. We're keeping our eyes very closely on crude oil prices across the world, and oil prices are climbing on Wednesday after 2 sessions of losses as industry data showed an unexpected drop in U.S. crude and fuel stocks, offsetting concerns of a possible rise in supplies from Iran. Brent crude futures rose to $91.19 a barrel, while U.S. WTI crude was at $89.74 a barrel. Ethiopia's Statistics Office says the country's year-on-year inflation edged down to 34.5% in January from 35.1% in the previous month. Inflation in the Horn of Africa nation has soared since the second half of last year, partly due to fighting in the north between federal troops and Tigrayan forces. Nigeria's state oil firm NNPC has asked retail petrol trading firms for emergency supplies of petrol to replace cargoes that were rejected because of the poor quality. The megacity Lagos and the capital Abuja are facing fuel shortages, and queues have built up outside some petrol stations because of this. The NNPC is reportedly seeking about 500,000 tons of petrol. And finally, China's state planner has warned on Wednesday against fabricating iron ore prices, saying for the second time this year that regulators would study effective measures to ensure market stability amid fast rising prices. The state planner had issued a public warning in late January saying the rapidly rising iron ore prices involved speculation as domestic inventory stood at multi-year highs. And that's Business Edge for today. As always, thank you for joining me. You know what to do. Follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, download our mobile app, and of course, take us with you wherever you go. 11 a.m. West African time, Monday through Friday. We put African business, the economy, and finance front and center on Business Edge. I'm Tolulope, Adeleru-Balogun. Have a fantastic day.